What's up everyone, Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video, and today we are talking about Escavalier. This Pokemon is pretty interesting. It works pretty well under Trick Room. It's a really powerful typing, even though it has one weakness, which is a quad times weakness, which is a really bad weakness, a very, very glaring weakness of fire, which is really bad for it, especially with Incineroar and Arcanine making up, 30% of the usage stats as far as Pikalytics is concerned. And most teams will have a fire type. Cinderace is one of the most used Pokemon now, so Escavalier doesn't have the best position in the current meta. However, we can patch that weakness up a little bit with the Berry, giving it half damage from super effective fire attacks, which is very good. But yeah, as far as weaknesses, one big glaring weakness with fire, but as far as not weaknesses, like resistances and good things about this Pokemon, it has a lot of really good things going for it. It works great under Trick Room, like I was saying. It's very slow. It's on the same speed tier as Ferrothorn and Torkoal, which is amazing. It has a great attack stat, an amazing Dynamax factor with really strong Dynamax moves, and a pretty solid ability that keeps it from being sleep powdered or rage powdered, which is very, very good. And also it takes less damage from weather, which is good. Hail and Sandstorm won't be damaging this Pokemon. And Sand Core has been very, very prevalent within the last few weeks. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So it's Bug Steel typing, which is pretty solid, giving us that one weakness of Fire, which is a quad weakness, but it also gives us one immunity of Poison, and then 8 really powerful resistances, being Normal, Grass, Ice, Psychic, Bug, Dragon, Steel, and Fairy. Overall, very solid typing. Only one weakness, but like I said, we can take an Berry and give us that 2 times effective weaknesses instead of 4, so we'll still die to some fire stuff, but much less, especially things like Incineroar and Arcanine, things that aren't dedicated insane power. The only things that are really taking knockouts consistently on our Dynamax Escavalier is something like Charizard with Solar Power and Life Orb and Sun, and a million different stacking buffs that make that deal an insane amount of damage. As far as our stats go for this Pokemon, we have pretty solid bulk, being 70 HP, which is pretty average or below average, but defense at 105 and special defense at 105, making this pretty tanky overall as far as our defense and special defense is concerned. Dynamax plus invest into HP makes its bulk very, very solid. As far as our offense goes, we are at 135 attack, which is very strong, 60 special attack, which doesn't matter because we're just using offense, physical offense, and then speed 20, like I was saying, works amazingly under Trick Room. So that's pretty good for our overview. Let's go ahead and talk about our move pool and our build. So as far as our build goes, we are using the ability Overcoat, like I said, being able to dodge that Sleep Powder, especially with a Moongus potentially being introduced into the game with the new DLC. We also have Venusaur being one of the top used Pokemon. Being able to just ignore that and go for no sleep is really good, especially on a Dynamax Pokemon like this. Obviously, we're still susceptible by certain forms of the sleep, things like hypnosis, coil hypnosis from something like Milotic, or gravity hypnosis. You won't see that very frequently, but it will happen sometimes. So yeah, you can still get slept. You can still get slept, but not by sleep powder, which is the most common form of that, by our boy Venusaur. Anyway, so that's pretty good of an ability. It's definitely his best ability. And then other than that, we are using the item Berry. Like I said, there's a couple of big benefits to this, mostly living things like Flare Blitz from Incineroar or Heat Wave from Arcanine, which is really, really strong to be able to live those attacks with a quad effective weakness. But it's a pretty good item. It gives us, a much more easy to dodge weakness. So then we also have a couple of other items that you could use, things like Assault Vest, Life Orb, or Choice Band, anything really that supplements this damage. If you're using Choice Band, obviously you don't want to Dynamax as much, and this is a more heavily focused on Dynamax build, so we're not going to be using Choice Band as frequently, but Life Orb could still find its way on the set, giving you 1.3 times damage even when Dynamaxed, and then Assault Vest giving you 1.5 times special defense even when Dynamaxed. So either of those are great options as well, and you could always go with maybe like a Pinch Berry or something as well, or even Weakness Policy, but you'll always die, so definitely not Weakness Policy. Anyway, that's about it for our items. Let's go ahead and go into our moves. So as far as our moves on this set go, I'm using Iron Head, Mega Horn, Drill Run, and Protect. Now, Iron Head and Drill Run give us really good max attacks, giving us great Secondary effects, Iron Head giving us +1 defense, and Drill Run giving us +1 special defense, both giving us really good supplements for damage control. Makes it great for our bulky supplemented Pokemon on the side, something like Dusclops, maybe Excadrill, maybe Togekiss. A bunch of random Pokemon could be on your side with Escavalier, and making that really good. We also have Megahorn, which turns into Max Flutterby, Butterfly. It's pretty solid. It lowers special attack, I think, or special defense. I should know that. Anyway, so yeah, but it's good because it's stab. So Iron Head and Megahorn provides stab, while Drill Run also provides coverage, while also being very, very strong as a secondary effect with max moves. So a couple of other options we have here, though. It has a pretty deep move pool with really good coverage attacks, and even Swords Dance as well, which is very good for this Pokemon. A couple of coverage moves that we have is Close Combat, Knockoff, Razor Shell, X-Scissor, and Poison Jab. I know that X-Scissor is also, stab with being bug. If you don't intend on Dynamaxing this Pokemon very often, you could use Choice Band and Razor Shell, or Choice Band and X-Scissor instead of Megahorn, since Megahorn is very inaccurate, but it provides the most damage for our max moves, so that's what we went with for this set, since we're going to Dynamax a lot. So that's about it. Swords Dance also gives us that +2 attack, which is very good, especially for like Follow Me shenanigans, but no Pokemon have Follow Me and Trick Room. Actually, Clefairy might. I don't think so, though. So yeah, we're going with the, not Swords Dance, but that is an option. So as far as our stats go for this set, we are going with 252 into HP and 252 into attack. Very basic set. Our leftover 4 into special defense, and then went for Brave Nature, giving us plus attack and minus speed. And then we also went for 0 IVs in speed, so that we can be as slow as possible. We hit the speed tier 22, which is very, very good for our Trick Room Pokemon, since we're on the same speed tier as Torkoal and Ferrothorn, and Torkoal is one of the scariest Pokemon going at an Escavalier, and fortunately enough, we get to speed tie it, which is not bad. So that's about it for this set. It's pretty basic, just 252, 252, 4. I thought that was pretty solid for this Pokemon. So yeah, it's pretty good. Let's go ahead and talk about the 2 synergetic Pokemon I have listed here. So first off, we have Dusclops. This just signifies anything really Trick Room. You could definitely go like Hatterene, Indeedee, or, other common Trick Room setups. I personally am a huge fan of Dusclops, and I think most people are. It's one of the most used Trick Room setters, actually one of the most used Pokemon of VGC 2020 in general, since it offers such extreme amounts of bulk and really good utility with Will-O-Wisp and Helping Hand and even Ally Switch. So it makes for a really good Pokemon for any Trick Room Pokemon like Escavalier. And then we also have Chandelure here, which has Flash Fire, making it so that you can switch Escavalier out into Chandelure. We saw this get a lot of success with the infamous 2020 Pokemon Durant, a very, very strong Pokemon that also has a quad weakness, being the same typing Bug Steel. Also has a quad weakness to fire, so we're using some teams were using Chandelure to switch into the Chandelure, absorb that with Flash Fire, and then make its Heat Wave amazingly powerful the next turn. So that's another way that you can go about a synergetic Pokemon. Being able to help you patch up that weakness is pretty solid. Even though with the Akaberry we can typically live 1 attack and then get a great effect off with Max Steel Spike or Max Quake, and then set Trick Room and get 2 attacks off, which is another way. Anyway, that's going to be it for this slide. Let's go ahead and talk about some speed tiers. So like I was saying, 22 is our base speed, or actually our unsupplemented speed. Supplemented speed. Hindering speed. It's the slowest we can get, which is what we want to be. We're at 22 on the same as Torkoal and Ferrothorn, which is very, very slow and very good for Trick Room. After Trick Room is set, we outspeed a lot of Pokemon, things like Dusclops, Hatterene, Snorlax, Reuniclus, Clefairy, Mudsdale, Gastrodon, Rhyperior, Conkeldurr. The list goes on. Every other Pokemon in the game except Pinsirchin, Pyukumuku, a couple of other stragglers down there. But point is, we're very, very slow, and once Trick Room is set, we are very, very solid. We're offering big stab damage, super effective damage against a lot of great Pokemon, things like Rhyperior, Snorlax with Close Combat. That's not stab, but still very good. Dusclops with Knockoff. We have, Iron Head into Hatterene, Max Steel Spike. Very, very good stuff. We hit a lot of big Pokemon for really super effective, strong damage. So that's really good. In being at this slow speed tier, we also ran Protect on our set so that we can protect Trick Room turn 1 if that's what has to happen. Anyway, that's going to be it for our speed tiers. keep it pretty brief. Let's go ahead and talk about some damage calcs. So to start it off, let's show off some Escavalier. First off, let's not show off Escavalier because the first time it's really bad. This is actually supposed to be Dynamaxed. Whoopsies. That's supposed to go up there. We are Dynamaxed in this first one. So, Dynamaxed Solar Power Charizard Max Flare in Sun with Life Orb and Solar Power is doing a lot of damage. It's able to take a guaranteed OHKO into our Dynamaxed Berry, or Dynamaxed Escavalier through Escavalier. This is the cream of the crop of Fire-type attacks. It's very, very damaging. Can't be stopped by Intimidate. Honestly, there's just really nothing you can really do about this. If Sun is set, you can Sleep Powder it with Venusaur, but, like, good luck because, you know, 70%, maybe 83 with Wide Lens. It's not going to happen. But Escavalier does not save us. So this is a kind of situation where you want Chandelure to be able to switch out and then, you know, try to take it out before you bring back in Escavalier. But until then, yeah, Charizard kills us. Anyway, next we have Flare Blitz from an Incineroar. This is something that Escavalier does cover us, which is very good. Escavalier, if we Dynamax, we only take 42 to 49% damage, which is a guaranteed 3-hit KO. It turns into a guaranteed 2-hit KO because we consume our berry. So it is taking us out in 2 hits, 2 Flare Blitz. But if we are normal, if we don't Dynamax, we still live with the Escavalier hitting 84 to 99%, which is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, which is very good, giving us the not the worst matchup we thought it was going to be with Incineroar. However, we still clap back pretty hard, hitting Max Quake into that with -1, mind you, Intimidated. We are still hitting 61 to 72%, so with something else, maybe a Dazzling Gleam, probably not, that probably won't take it out, but something else, maybe like, you know, Excadrill Rock Slide, Tyranitar Rock Slide, will be able to take out Incineroar in one turn with Max Quake and that being able to be very strong. So that's another option as well. Making Incineroar not the worst matchup, but not a great matchup. Speaking of not a great matchup, all fire Pokemon pretty much. Newsflash. Anyway, good matchups though, which we have many of. First off, Togekiss. This is a very, very common Pokemon. One of the most used, if not most used, Pokemon in VGC 2020. And we see the bulky, non-Dynamaxing build a lot. And this is the build that we're talking about. 236 HP, 196 plus defense, bold nature, being very, very sturdy. However, with Max Steel Spike from our Escavalier, we are hitting 104 to 123%, which is a guaranteed OHKO. A lot of the time, about half the time, it'll be running a Babbery Berry, so you'll OHKO about half of your opposing Togekiss, which is very, very good, offering us a huge guaranteed OHKO, turn 1, very, very big, roll the whole game in our favor, great times. Anyway, next we have Dynamaxed and not Dynamaxed. So first off, we have Knockoff from our Escavalier into a Dusclops, a very defensive Eviolite. That should be 252 HP, not 248, but oh well. Hitting us 46 to 54%, which is a 60% chance to 2-hit KO. However, we knock off that Eviolite, making it a guaranteed 2-hit KO, which is very good. Or if you Dynamaxed, we hit 56 to 67%, which is also a guaranteed 2-hit KO. So either way that you do it, knockoff or Dynamax for max, whatever that is, Max Darkness, we are hitting a guaranteed 2-hit KO, which is very good. So Dusclops shouldn't be too big of a problem. Also, it's usually setting Trick Room, so if they set Trick Room for us, then woo, awesome. Anyway, next we have our last damage calc here, Dynamaxed Max Steel Spike into a pretty defensive Sylveon with just max HP. It should be 252, I don't know why it's only 248, but into a max HP Sylveon, we're hitting 176 to 206%, which even gives us a chance of OHKOing it, even if it Dynamaxes, which is a very, very good thing. Anyway, that's about it for our damage calcs. We have pretty good matchups against fairy types, you know, the Dusclops with knockoff, if you go knockoff. A couple of other good damage calcs are thrown in here and there, but yeah, it's very good against a lot of good Pokemon in the meta. Also weak to a lot of good Pokemon in the meta, things like Incineroar, Arcanine, Charizard, a lot of good Pokemon. So it has its trade-offs, it has its ups and downs. Anyway, that's going to be it for our damage calcs. Let's go ahead and talk about Single Spotlight real quick before the video is over. And Single Spotlight is not very different from our VGC build. However, instead of investing to attack, we invest into special defense, and then instead of using protect, we use knock off in close combat, and then Mega Horn and Iron Head. for stab moves, and then we have knockoff and close combat for coverage and utility, and then running the ability overcoat still because it's just the best for it. And then we also have leftovers as our item here, just being very bulky, invested in the HP and special defense so this Pokemon can last a little while. Knock off a couple of things, hit for very big damage on Iron Head and Megahorn. The Pokemon is very slow, so honestly you're probably not going to see it very much in singles, but it's still, you know, a cool option. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, like and subscribe and comment. Hey, nice vid. Thank you so much for watching. That's going to be it. Escavalier, in sum up, is pretty slow, making it good in Trick Room. It has a pretty strong move pool, not a bad ability, and very strong stab max moves, which is very good, offering it a lot of utility with great secondary effects of max moves attacks. In singles, probably not going to be the most promising Pokemon, but still overall pretty solid Pokemon, pretty low tier, so underrated. So, you know, you whip this out against somebody and they're like, oh cool, Escavalier, and then you kick their butts. Let's get it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Follow me on Twitter. Join my Discord if you want to join the rental series that I just started. Then you have to be in the Discord. I have a channel dedicated to that. Check those videos out there on my channel. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.